You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Polo and Tell, is that you?
Mic check. Mic check waifu. Tell, is that you?
I see a Lube Complex hat on your head.
This is episode 150 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure you go to lubecomplex.com and use that offer code waifu to save on your entire cart. They just released a few classic sets that they had previously in the shop that was extremely popular. They just dropped some more, so check them out at lubecomplex.com. It's also brought to you by don'ttalkshop.com. Don't talk about it. That's it. Don'tTalkShop.com. Listen, this is episode 150 of Mic Check Waifu. We come to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. EST. We only miss one Tuesday in our entire career recording. So we have 150 fucking episodes. That's crazy. And I'ma do it. I don't care. We don't really like to gloat, but the content has been special. It's been great.
Consistently.
Very, very consistently great, and I'm extremely proud of it. So thank y'all so much for rocking with us. And to be honest, without these Patreon supporters, we could not do any of this. Every last one of you has been extremely I guess what's the word, valuable to this company, to this business, to this venture that we're doing. Like, we can't thank you guys enough for supporting us, and any amount helps. So thank you all so much. But shout out to our Patreon producers, A.B. Aaron Brown, Dre, the GOAT G, Johnny from Anime Lytical Podcast, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast. Explicitly thank you, Monique Williams and Nachi. And then thank you all, everybody else, Blanime Podcast for supporting Booty Senpai. Thank you so much for supporting us. Worst Generation Podcast, Alan, Crystal, Cry Food, and Rob. Thank y'all so much for just supporting us for as long as you guys have. It's very special. It means the world to us.
We love y'all.
Definitely love y'all. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. One of the things we're going to talk about is a new movie that just dropped, and I'm an anime movie aficionado. Like, I fucking love anime movies. I watched a lot of them. I know a lot of them. So I have some things to say and share. We're going to talk about a couple of new shows that I've watched, a couple of new shows that Tell watched, something Tell read, and as well as a spoiler talk in the second half of the show after the music break. Spoiler talk will be Spy Family. It will be what else, Tell?
Spy Family. Let's talk about Love After World Domination.
Okay.
And spoiler talk too, because Ash.
Okay.
I got some specific statements about that.
Interesting. Okay, and let's go to let's throw in. I really don't want to throw in Rising of the Shield Hero.
We don't have to, because it was what the community likes to call mid.
Summertime rendering.
Let's do it.
All right. That'll be the spoiler talk in the second half of the show. Before we get into the main things, Tell, what was your episode of the week this week?
I struggle with this. It's not what Ash wanted it to be, because Ash commented and told me that my episode of the week needed to be a Love After World Domination. He didn't understand how it couldn't be after this week's episode. Which I agree. It was a pretty good episode. But I watched Ayoashi. I watched Summertime Rendering. I watched The Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as a Typical Nobody. I watched I'm Quitting Heroing. And so many of these just had really, really like great episodes. But my episode of the week was Trapped in a Dating Sim this week.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is funny because, I mean, as Ash should know this, I'm probably more of the Love After World Domination fan here than Tell. I'm not trying to claim anything, but I think I like it a little bit more than he does. Fucking fantastic episode this week. But I absolutely have to give it to Spy Family this week. Spy Family was a brilliant fucking episode. And I must say, I am so thankful that this show's going on. I put out a tweet on our you can follow us on Twitter at Might Check Waifu. I put out a tweet on our Might Check Waifu Twitter page, and I said, no anime, and this is just real life, no anime goes by faster than Spy Family. That shit just comes and it goes and it ends. It's like, it feels like I've been watching it for 5 minutes by the time the credits start rolling. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Why did the time go by so fast? And I hate it. I can't stand it because I want more of it.
You're right. Can I talk about an anime that felt like it didn't go by fast though this week?
Talk to me.
And you probably watched it, but Tamagotchi Game.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode, like these episodes, slowing down. And I saw I think it was like less time this episode than Spy Family, and it's like slowing down.
Yeah, it's fucking. I don't know.
I almost feel like it might be doing too much. Is that the thing?
I think we talked about it last week, and I think we both gave very great estimations as to what we think is going to happen in this show. But I gotta say, it's kind of silly. It's kind of silly because it's kind of exactly what we think it was going to be, and it's just kind of predictable. And I don't think I'm as entertained as I was when it first started.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It dropped off a lot since that first episode.
Yeah, maybe y'all feel different. Let us know. Write us at Might Check Waifu on Twitter. Let us know if y'all feel the same way we do.
It's still not as bad as Platinum End though.
No. Hell, it's not even bad. That's the crazy part. It's not even bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's just okay. It's just okay. I keep forgetting that Coleman Can't Communicate came out too, and it's fucking so good too. But yeah, so it's still Spy Family is still the best.
Yeah. It was really good episode. I can't wait to talk about that too.
Yeah, for sure. What new does Tail have to bring this week?
So I randomly I was randomly going through my like the spring list, and I saw The Last Summoner. Okay. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, let's just pick this up. I like summoning shit. I play games where you summon shit. Like,
yeah, give me both.
Like that. Like, let me check it out real quick. And I turned it on, and it's that typical Chinese animation. It's a Chinese anime. So it's that typical Chinese animation where it's kind of got that soft look. Doesn't look as good as, what was that really good one?
Link Click.
Link Click. It doesn't look as good as Link Click, but it has like this feel, like where certain moments, like because he's in the house in the beginning, and like the marble in the like background looks real, and then they've got like this stuff is like, it's so well like designed, like it's a mix of CGI and that like hand drawn style, and it looks like immaculate. It looks beautiful. But then they go into like other scenes where it kind of doesn't look as good. You can see like they kind of mixing and matching where the higher budget stuff is going. But basically what it is a world where humans have the capability of summoning spirits, power from plants, from like the dead, and it's just showing like a bunch of like I guess historical figures. Like they show the like Anubis summoning like dead ancestors. They show like a mage summoning meteors from the stars, and they show like another one like summoning like wildlife, and just like, you know, humans can summon whatever. And I'm like, okay, this kind of cool. And then it kind of starts off, and the dude is like, he's a loner. His parents are like, he has parents, but they're never there basically. So it's the typical anime shonen character start. And he's like talking about how he's gotten really good at cooking for himself. So he cooks, and he makes his like perfect bowl of ramen, and it looks like beautiful. It's a perfect bowl of ramen, and the spirit sees this bowl of ramen and looks at it as like, oh, it's a summoning offering, and goes to him as like he summoned her because of this offering of ramen, and now she won't leave him the fuck alone. And his whole thing in the first episode is trying to get rid of her. He's like, I want you to stop chasing me. It's this girl who tried to like pronounce her love for him, gave him a love letter, and he's like, get away from me, because he's talking to the spirit, but they can't see the spirit because only, you know, the spirit summoners can see the spirits.
Interesting.
So it's kind of cool. It's interesting. I don't want to spill too much of it unless like in case people watch it. I'm gonna say right now though, it was funny in that first episode, but when I got to the second episode, I was like, oh, this just okay. Yeah. I'm interested though in like what's gonna happen in the future, but it still is like just okay.
So is it something that gets added to the list of watches that you got right now?
Right now, yeah, it's gonna stay on the list of watches. I watched 2 episodes today. So it's gonna. It only has 2 episodes out right now, so it's gonna stay on the list of watches right now. After this 3rd episode drops, we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see if it get dropped. But the 3rd episode comes out after this podcast release, so
Oh shit. Okay,
we'll see.
For me, of course, before we get into some of the other stuff, there was a show from, I think it was 2 seasons ago, which was Winter. Can't remember, but there was a show that I was watching and I loved it. I actually enjoyed every last bit of it. For some reason, I stopped watching it, and I think it has something to do with I believe it's Winter. I could be wrong on when it came out. Actually, I kind of want to find out exactly when it did come out, because I think that's important to know. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that had to be the reason why I dropped it, because it must have been too much shit that came out prior.
Yeah.
The anime is called The Duke of Death and His Maid. Now, I talked about this on the show during the summertime, because I watched the first couple of episodes. This is, I'm briefly touch on this. Has the most beautiful 3D CGI you ever watch in anime, because the environment is a painting. The characters are just 3D CGI that looks fucking wonderful, because all of its features still 2D. So the eyes are still drawn 2D. The emote of their eyes is just still drawn in 2D. It looks great. It looks fucking phenomenal. It's the most artistic fucking romance anime I think I've seen in a very long time that uses CGI. But what this does is fucking great as far as storytelling goes, because it's about a young duke. Okay, this young duke, sweetheart of a child, lived a very sweet life. All of a sudden, he's outside of his mansion and he's at this grave, just visiting it, doing regular duke shit. This witch, is what they're called, curses him. And with this curse, he's not allowed to touch anything living or it dies. So everything he touches dies immediately. The life just gets sucked out of it. So now, because of that, his mother fucking hates him. Not that she hates him. Let me rephrase that. She's terrified of him. But it's kind of disguised as hate for him, because she's scared of him. So what she does is she puts him into his own mansion and gives him one of their most kind of reliable maids. So he only has one of reliable butlers, I should say. He only has one butler, and then he gets introduced to a maid who happens to be one of his childhood friends, whose her mother was the maid of their main house when she was alive, but she's passed. This story is about them and their romantic connection and not being able to actually connect. And it's the fucking sweetest, saddest yet wholesome yet and quality ass romantic anime that I think everybody should watch. It's incredible. The dub, fucking phenomenal. One of the best dubs in romance ever. It's fucking great. It's really fucking good. And it ended, and when it ended, I was pissed, because I needed more. I needed more. It was literally that good. That quality of an anime. Fuck, it's over. And when anime is good, when the first thing you do as soon as it ends, you go to Google, type season 2. Season 2, it was announced to be coming. Don't know when, but it is in production. So thank goodness for that, because I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't get more of this. I don't care when it's coming. That good? It's that good. It's really that good. It honestly is that good. It's truly a special anime. I love it, and I love the characters. The characters are fucking amazing. They're great. I suggest maybe during the break, watch a trailer for it and just look at how the art is. It's fucking great, man. It's great. You'll definitely fall in love with these characters too if you watch it. Well, what did you pick up that you read or is reading?
And I think you might have picked this up too. I'm not 100% sure on if you picked this up or not, but I think you might have. It's called Doombreaker. It's a manhwa. All right. So how it starts off is our main character is about to die. He's been fatally wounded by a god that he's fighting. Basically, this god came to Earth and just said, I'm gonna blow everything up, right? I'm gonna kill everybody. And the gods that he worshipped, that the main character worshipped, they took no part in helping everybody. All the priests and saints and whatnot who normally pray to the gods and got their powers from them, all their powers were taken away from them because the gods stopped helping, because they found it amusing to watch the humans suffer and struggle, right? And they found it even more amusing that there was a human who was able to stand up to this god and even wound this guy and cut his hand off, right? So it got basically what happens is the god says, well, before he cuts his hand off, the god says to our main character, I really like you and you're really strong, and instead of me taking your life right here and now, I'll let you become one of my servants and I'll give you your own plot of land, et cetera, et cetera. And Zephyr is the main character. He says, that sounds crazy. You just want to see me suffer, as I say yes. So what I do, and apparently he was blessed by a saint, is if he does this action, he sticks up his middle finger, it releases a large amount of power that just bursts. Like, it's an amazing amount of power. He sticks up his middle finger and it blows up in front of the god and basically severs his hand from his body, and the god is immediately furious, and then he just our main character dies. As he dies, he wakes up to an angel, and the angel is basically telling him, you're going to be reincarnated and you're going to get another chance. You're going to go back 10 years from today and you're going to get to relive your life all over again. And basically the gods just want to see you try again. They want to see, the gods want to see what you can do if you knew what was going to happen, right?
Interesting.
And I'm like, this is pretty interesting. That's what I said. And I think it's actually really fucking good. But he takes the offer. Initially, he takes the offer because he's saying screw you to the gods.
Right.
But
just another big fuck you.
Yeah, he's going back in time. He's gonna redo everything, but they also give him new perks to life, right? So like he has like an indomitable spirit where he can work consistently without tiring. So now he can level up faster. And he's basically 10 years ago when they sent him back, he was basically like an indentured servant / slave. So he's working in the mines to build up money and build up his strength and shit. And I'm like, okay, I mean, hey, that's a good way to start. At least we know 10 years ago you was a nobody, and we know that with these new perks you gonna be somebody.
Definitely.
So I'm interested. He is very is very reminiscent of other things we've read.
Absolutely. Overgeared.
It's good as fuck.
Yeah. It seemed like those mom would have like those kind of I guess recycled in a unique enough way to where they're different enough, right?
Right. It's like a good isekai, but like that's how like a good isekai, even though we know it's recycled, it can still be
exactly. Isekais can still be fresh. That's why it's a genre in itself. And then one more thing I finished was Trinity 7. I was on the last episode of that. It was on my anime in progress. I don't remember shit that happened prior to that last episode, but I decided to finish it anyway. It really wasn't that good. But yeah, that's it for that. Anything else for you?
Twin Star Exorcist dropped 2 chapters today. 2 chapters. That is over 90 pages.
Which is unusual for them, right?
It is very unusual for them, but it was, oh my God, it was so fucking good, bro. The only thing I'm going to say, and I didn't share this on the timeline, but y'all ain't going to see it today, so I hope y'all picked up on Twin Star Exorcist if y'all did. And if y'all didn't, c'est la vie, it is what it is. And I saw this coming, but it's still heartbreaking. They got the main character, Rokuro and Mado. He's finally, we're like at the climax of the series, the apex moment, right? Rokuro is in Magano and he's getting ready to go fight the main bad guy who's been like the ringleader of everything, right?
The Aizen of the manga?
Basically, the Aizen who's been sitting back here doing all his BS. And he gets there in time to what we feel like is enough time to save Benio, because she's been put under a curse that's going to basically make her focus on all the negative aspects of her life. And she's like, what we see in this moment is Benio saying like, all I've ever wanted, like I will be okay with all of humanity being gone if it could just be you and I in our own place, and we get to live out the rest of our lives.
Demon.
And she's like, and this whole time we just see her face happy, like she's in her regular face, she's super happy, smiling, she's teared up, and she's so happy to see him. And then as she's saying these things, she says, I'm sorry for being so, selfish. And the very next screen, I'm gonna show you this picture because it was so good. It was so good. The very next screen, the curse takes over, and she says, "So I deserve to be alone." And her whole face just switches to like this evil, demonic face.
Whoa!
And now she's kicking
his ass,
bro. She's on his
Damn.
ass. I'm just like, yo, they just had this heartfelt moment where they finally got to see each other again. They finally got the same idea in mind on what they're gonna do to save the world, but she can't help herself because she's been cursed. So
damn,
it's crazy, and I love this series so much.
Damn, Orochimaru.
Right, from the from the like action all the way to the like the love scenes, right? They do very good with like making sure that these main characters really love each other. So that's what really like made this part like crazy to me, because it was twisted almost in my mind. I'm like, we got this moment where I thought our main characters gonna get a chance to actually fight together, but it's like, nah, fuck that. They gonna fight each other. And it just sucks, bro. Imagine you with your waifu and you save her life, and you think you saved her life, and it's like, nah, bro, the bad guy twisted her. You know
what I think about all the time, and it never fails, but action anime is something that Twin Star Axis apparently does well. Action anime does romance so poorly. And people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I think I'm in a minority. Trust me, I know. Mm-hmm. But I think SAO does romance really well.
I agree with you.
There are so many action anime or just shonen anime that don't do romance well at all. It's always some shy bullshit, or maybe some like what's the word I'm looking for? Like some I don't know, fucking hints here or there that there's
or shallow love stories.
Yes, very shallow love stories in these action anime. And sometimes I want to see the hero and heroine fucking in a romance, in a relationship together, just happy. That's needed in these action anime more so, I think.
And we so tired of the Chi-Chi and Goku ass relationship. Ugh. Everybody want to be a Chi-Chi and Goku like their relationship was good.
Chi-Chi is awful.
She was graping that man. That was horrible. Come on, man. We don't want those kind of relationships. We want really good
real love. And that's
love relationship.
And that's probably why I'm so fucking infatuated with romances. Like just for instance, again, my AniList profile isn't as accurate as it should be, but like my action anime, I've got just as much romance as I do action. So I have like 247 action anime, 213 romance. Like, just because I just be wanting that shit. I be enjoying it. I be enjoying it a lot. Shout out to
as you should.
Shout out to a couple of Cuckoos had a second episode this week, and obviously it's okay. It definitely fell off from where it was last week, because again it was much more comedy than I want in something like this. But I'm still looking forward to it. And before we get into the anime movie we watched, which is Bubble, the main topic of discussion tonight, or whenever you're listening to this, there was 2 questions that came in last week that we didn't get a chance to get to because they came in on a Monday, I believe. And as everybody know, we record on Sunday. The episode drops on Tuesday. But one from Semi Sensei, again, somebody who's been listening from episode 1 all the way up until, I don't know, I think he's like got to be like 130 something now.
Almost caught up.
He's almost caught up. He says, and this goes back to the 3-episode rule that we discussed. He said, I don't think I dropped anything yet, but definitely trying to get back into watching a lot of shows. But if you were in Tamagotchi game with each other, do you think y'all will fold or no?
That's so easy.
Yeah. No. Fuck no. There's no.
The thing is that like Polo knows I got his back.
Yeah.
Right? Like Polo know I got his back. And I know Polo got my back.
I would 100% put my life on the line for Tell if I had to, and because I know he would do the same for me.
And the thing is we not folding. We be in that bitch like.
Oh, you said that? Bring it.
It is what it is, bro.
Bring it. We'll figure out a way to create a business. We'll figure out a way to make sure that business is successful, and we'll figure out a way to pay the debt. Whatever the fucking debt is, 600 million, whatever the fuck it is, give it to us. We'll take it. I ain't
even gonna lie to you. 600 million. That's like what? That's like maybe 200, 400,000, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And that's so. I ain't gonna hold you. If I'm that much in debt, I'm already just gonna put everything on the line. Just
fuck it.
We about to make this mic check waifu shit really blow up. Cause I ain't got no choice now.
You ain't got no choice.
I ain't got no choice. We gonna go ahead and just. I'm quitting my job. I'm about to go ahead and just. Or I ain't gonna quit my job, but I'm gonna work that less, and I'm gonna be here like
more. Yeah.
What's sleep? Writing scripts and shit. Y'all gonna this mic check waifu gonna blow up if we had to do that. But yeah,
facts, man.
I trust Polo. No, I trust him. So. We good. If it's against the world, we already know what it is.
And I put that on everything I've ever loved and lost. That's exactly how I feel. Like, no matter what. And he said, also, have y'all seen Minority? Fuck. Moriarty the Patriot. I know that's Crystal shit.
I meant to watch that.
Yeah, me too. And then the last question came from Jay Lee, a.k.a. Johnny from Anime Lytical Podcast. He said, question for Mike Check Waifu. He says, if you could be a spy or an assassin, which would you choose? Hashtag ask Mike Check.
You go first.
I feel like I would be an assassin.
I have a very distinct issue with this question because I feel like if you can be one, you can be the other.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna be the assassin, I'm gonna be the spy because I feel like if I'm good enough to be a spy, I'm good enough to be an assassin.
Facts.
And if you're good enough to be an assassin, you're good enough to be a spy.
I spent almost my entire working career as a fucking spy.
Right. He already been a spy. He getting out that field. So I'm gonna go ahead and cop the spy title. Go ahead and edit a little spy tag on me for the video version. Polo.
I got you. Oh, that's funny. Good question, Jay. Appreciate you. All right, and then the main tots, if you will, topic of the show. Bubble, man. We both watched Bubble, a Netflix anime. Came out dubbed and subbed on Netflix. Overarching.
Did you watch a dub or sub?
I listened to the sub and I listened to the dub. Watched the dub.
I didn't even check out the sub. I just straight dubbed.
Dub was real fucking good.
Oh, what? I said I watched the dub. I didn't even check out the sub.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah. Dub was real good. So,
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, bro?
I'm gonna let you go first.
All right. So I mentioned to Steve and Panda that I watched this. Mm-hmm. And Steve thought it was really, really fucking good. And really? I said it was good, but I have my own opinions about that.
Interesting.
Because there were elements of this show that bothered me.
Movie that bothered me. I loved the idea that it was basically just the Little Mermaid retold, right? It was literally just the Little Mermaid retold. Got it. Cool concept. I hated the fact that there was even parkour as a game. It felt very out of place. It felt like they could have just made these characters as runaway people who were here because of whatever damned reason, and they would have made the parkour feel more like a actual story beat rather than some fodder that was mentioned in the beginning that there was a game and it never happened really like any real relevance or importance after that. But the show, I think that, well, not the show, the movie was cool. The romance was okay as fuck. It wasn't, I don't think it wasn't a great romance story. But I do think it was well animated and great music, those elements. But yeah, story was all over the place. That parkour game thing I thought was trash. They could have kept that to themselves. Very interesting.
I don't know what you think, Polo.
Yeah. So for me, the parkour shit was the best part about it. It was Mirror's Edge, the anime. The thing with this is the show absolutely beautiful. The music was some of the best movie music I've heard in a very fucking long time.
It was great.
Incredible soundtrack. Very gorgeous art style. Of course it is. It's Wit. Wit did Vivi, so duh. And his voice acting was I don't know who the fuck was the casting director, but they laid this shit out when it came to like dub voice acting, and the sub was also absolutely incredible. So you couldn't go wrong with either or. It makes me want to talk about the whole dub versus sub thing, because that shit is not an argument no more. There's nothing you can say, because they are casting quality talent, and I think they should be paid more. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother discussion. Now, as far as the romance and the Little Mermaid storytelling part, was the most uninteresting part about the entire fucking thing. I didn't believe it. I didn't care about her because she did barely even said anything. She was barely even noticeable, to be honest. She was the main focal point of the story, yet she felt so distant from everything else. I think what this suffers from is it being a short hour and 40-minute movie. If it was a show and it had time to actually build out the world and develop the world better, like help us understand this bubble shit and give the bubble shit more depth, because it was so shallow that like I didn't fucking understand the science behind none of this shit. It didn't make any fucking sense. But the fact that they had to adopt, and by using the parkour shit in this world, was the best part about it to me personally, because like that's how else would you live in this situation? You don't have any other way to get around, so you have to adapt, and I like that.
I don't disagree with the parkour part being one of the best parts of it. What I disagree is how it was placed, right? Like I felt like they introduced the parkour element of this anime movie, of this movie, in the sense of this game, right? Like it felt like this game was supposed to be some real relevant portion to this show, but like we got two real playmates or times they played this game, right? The beginning scene where they introduced the characters, and then they explained, how this game works, and then like we get to the second part where they are going against the main, like we didn't really know they were bad guys, but the ones who look like ninjas who've been overseeing everything. That's the second time they really do this game again. But like I think that, like I said, the reality to me would have been a lot better if they said like how they kind of started, and when they got to like the second act of the show, where like close to the middle, when they spoke about how like people lost their families in this zone.
Absolutely.
And they explained that, and then they explained that there's a gravity difference in this zone, right? And they could have made that say like these people are runaways, and the people who are watching are trying to keep them out of trouble, etc. And that's why they parkour, because they're trying to keep up their lifestyle.
And that's where I was going with what I was saying. What I was saying is that the whole Little Mermaid story fucked up everything, because again, they had to have that Little Mermaid story for the games to make sense, because they were going to use her to help him progress through that shit with her her spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch the movie, turn the podcast off. But her grabbing his hand and realizing that she can't touch the prince, blah blah blah. That was essentially what the parkour game was for. The parkour portion of it was great, and let me tell you why. Because what they could have done and what they should have done is they should have built it as it was. It's an apocalyptic situation. You're in Tokyo. You're in this big situational bubble that has this gravitational shit. Now, take that and use this as, I don't know, even different from Mirror's Edge story, and make it be to where these people have to scavenge to survive. You're going through the old remnants of fucking Tokyo, trying to scavenge to survive this fucking terrible situation that you in, and come across something else. Even using this whole Little Mermaid story, you could have did that with that. But I think it's because they had this time constraint that they decided to use this Little Mermaid story, because again, the whole grabbing of the hand and the bubble thing, and she evaporate bullshit.
They didn't explain the antlion pits. They didn't explain how they knew the red bubbles were dangerous before they actually even hit anything. There was so much that was left unexplained. We didn't even like the character, our bubble character. We didn't even get to see, like, we know that she transformed into some girl who was on like the billboard or bubble or on because of what she saw. So that's what she transformed into. Like, I feel like there was just so much context we didn't get to get, and you were right, because if this had been like a 12 episode series, it would have probably been a lot better, because then we could have got that romance to develop. We could have seen her go from we saw her go from I can't talk to speaking semi-coherent 3-year-old, 4-year-old conversations, in 40 minutes,
Yeah.
and that was just a bit much for like how fast it progressed to the ending.
Yeah.
Now, but I'll go ahead. I was gonna say I did love moments where, like for instance, when they explained that she was always there for him, like in that moment when the main antithesis situation happened where the city blew up, like she was always there, like she was that one bubble that he could hear. That was cool. I loved his hearing disability, where he had over heightened. He had
sensory overload.
Yeah, sensory overload, basically. Like that was dope. Like because that's a real thing, but like it wasn't that he was different. He really just needed the headphones. He wasn't struggling for real. And the disconnect with the mom, I thought all of that explanation was so cool, and I wish that there was more time to dive into those kind of things.
It was so much potential in this entire fucking movie that with the music and the animation, just the overarching story was something that was just not, it wasn't it for me personally. Mm-hmm. Again, I was not attached to, I was only attached to the main character, but again, even being attached to him, I didn't care about his emotion when it came to this being, whatever you want to call it. I just wish I understood all of that more. I think understanding the bubble and explaining the anomaly more would have been more important than them competing and being the Blue Blazes. Competing for what? Extra resources? When I don't know.
Right. And what happens inside the antlion pit? Didn't we have two characters who fell in? And then how did they get out? I have questions, but it's just so weird to even have these questions in the first place when I feel like those were very easy to answer scenarios, There's just so much that happened that just feels just unmentioned. Yeah.
And we know none of this is probably going to be a popular opinion because we saw on the timeline, everybody loved this movie. Everybody was emotionally involved, but nah, it wasn't it. It wasn't. I thought you were going to like it a lot more than what you just described. I did not know we were pretty much on the same page.
I told you we were on the same page.
You did
I knew
before
when
we
I watched
recorded.
it, I was like, Polo thinks exactly like how I feel about this right now. And it is. And Monique, she gave it a 10 out of 10. Monique was like, oh, this is a 10 out of 10. She's like, this is great. I love this movie. She's like, it's not as good as Your Name, or it's not as good as A Silent Voice, but it's really good. It's a 10 out of 10. And I was like, okay. And she was like, you don't like anything that I like. And I was like, I don't know how to tell you, but
that's crazy.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this that's just not good.
Because okay. So that's where I thought, and this is not a slight to my sister because I love her to death, but this is where I thought somebody like Monique or somebody who is a lot, who doesn't really frequent the anime sphere as we do, would feel about this movie. And it's not a bad movie. I wouldn't say it was it's a pretty, again, the sound is great. The animation is gorgeous. You can like the characters. The storytelling is very lackluster, and it doesn't hold a lot of like impact.
Yeah, and Monique, my wife, she also loves Little Mermaid. It's her favorite Disney. So,
and I'm gonna be real with you, and Monique, I don't even think this was a good Little Mermaid story. To be real,
I liked that they told Little Mermaid story more true to what
it actually is. Yeah, for sure. But it's still not.
Then, like I said, the struggle was the fact that it didn't have the time to develop the story the way it should have been developed. If we had started with the bubble,
yes,
and it had just been completely focused around her and the Little Mermaid development story, that would have been way better.
Yes.
And I think that they should have said, screw all that learning to speak English.
Yes.
Like she's a sentient bubble being. Why do we give a fuck if she already knows Japanese or English or whatever it is as soon as she already took the form of something she ain't never seen before.
Exactly.
She took the form. Just give her the ability to speak like a regular person. There was just so much, like, I was just like, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah, and like, again, my question, why the fuck was the bubbles the reason why the Little Mermaid thing even spurred about? Like, why? Fucking just make it that since the fucking world is flooded now, mermaids came ashore. I don't fucking know. Like the bubbles didn't have to be what she became. Like it just none of it quite sits right with me when it comes to this scientific lore of it. And I know it's not supposed to. It's supposed to just be this supernatural anomaly that happened. And yes, I get it. I'm supposed to suspend my belief for that. And I tried. I really fucking did. I really tried to suspend my belief when it comes to the scientific part of this. But it's hard to, and even that supernatural scientific part don't make a whole lot of sense. Just don't.
Yeah, they kicked our ass with that, bro.
Yeah,
they did.
But again, very fucking pretty, very good to look at, very good to watch it. I even think somebody like my brother would love it if he watched it. I think Javon would absolutely love it. But then again, I don't think I've watched so many anime movies that there's anime movies that gave me the development so much better than this.
I agree.
With shorter time, even because this was an hour 40. There's movies that are there's movies that are like hour 30 that does just as good, or if not better, with developing characters.
I swear to you, a silent voice.
A silent voice is 2 hours long, but it's also fucking perfect, man. When it comes to development, perfect movie. Yes,
it's a perfect movie.
I absolutely agree with that. And then up until the ending, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is a fucking fantastic movie. It's just, the ending. But as most anime movies, they don't really end that well. This one did end well, though, I think. Thought it was cool.
I mean, yeah, it had a semi, ish ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see why, the ending wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
It was better than a lot of the other parts of the movie.
100%. All right, man. Let's get to know my check waifu and take this quick break before we get sliding into spoiler talk. This is part of the podcast where one of us rolls a random number generator, the other reads the question associated with that number. And it's my turn to roll a random number, right?
I'm rolling random number.
Okay, just like that.
Was it 38?
37.
8.
What anime was the biggest letdown for you?
Biggest letdown anime. What anime was the biggest letdown, bro?
Very interesting question.
It's hold up, wait. I can go to all the anime I watch.
I mean, to be honest, you said it earlier before we hit record.
What did I say?
Come on, man. You know what you said.
No, what did I say for him?
AOTE.
Oh, yeah. The anime is definitely let down. I like the manga a lot. The Promised Neverland. Now that you say it. Sheesh. Let's see here.
For me, it's My Hero. I think My Hero is last 2 seasons big ball drops.
Dead Man Wonderland. Only because there's not a continuation.
I'm about to say, what the fuck? It was still pretty good anime.
Yeah. Akudama Drive, because it was very pretty and turned out to be trash.
But like, what was an anime that you saw and was like, fuck, I'm so hyped for this. I can't wait for this to be an anime. And then you watch it and you're like, fuck, this sucks. I guess it was Promised Neverland, right?
Oh, no, that was Twin Star Exorcist.
Ah, yeah, duh. Well, fuck, of course. Yeah, and for me, it's definitely going to be My Hero because I'm so hyped for that, and it just wasn't that good. All right, man. We'll be right back after these smooth tones. Hey, these fucking songs have been killing it lately.
For sure.
Make sure y'all check out the artist page in the show notes, whether it's their YouTube link or Spotify, and support them. Let them know that My Check Waifu sent you. We'll appreciate that. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 150 of Mic Check Waifu. This is kind of a huge milestone, man. 150 is huge. It's a big deal.
Yeah, we up there.
Thank you for listening.
We got half the Spartans.
300 reference. I love it. You know, that movie was actually so special.
It was, bro. For how they shot it and,
incredible.
What it looks like, yeah.
Did you see that? I'm sure you have, because I think we both subscribe to it. But that Corridor Digital thing. Fuck, bro.
I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to it, but I don't remember seeing it.
Bro, what they did was they recreated the camera that Zack Snyder used in 300 and try to like do some cool shots with it, like 300-esque shots. What they did, it's fucking so off topic, but we'll get to the spoilers talk. We're gonna start off with Spy Family first. So if you're here for the spoilers talk, Spy Family is coming first, followed by Love After World Domination, and then it's going to be Summertime Renderer. Okay. Before we get to that though, what Zack Snyder did was he had this camera rig that he made that had 3 different cameras on it. And well, 3 of the same cameras, but 3 different lenses on each camera. So he had I believe it was a 30 millimeter camera. I can't remember the exact 75, 30, and 25. All different focal lengths. So what that meant was when he was that shot of Leonidas when he's going through and he's slicing up the people and it's like zooming in and it's zooming mid and it's zooming out. The whole thing was shot simultaneously with those cameras. So he was just using those 3 cameras and then picking and choosing during the edit, which made his shit so much easier, by the way. Which shot would look best during those fight transitions was just fucking incredible, man. Incredible.
I only got one more thing to say kind of about that. Have you ever seen like MKBHD's camera setup? You saw like the $20,000 camera arm he has.
Oh yeah, the one that moves super accurately and fast.
I'm just like, bro.
Yeah.
You program it to that. I'm just like, come.
That's how they shoot those crazy ass food commercials and shit.
Right.
Where the fries be fucking panning over and it looks so damn good.
So good. And
it's so good.
This is a program. It's so good.
And they can get the exact same shot every single time.
Every single time because it's a robot. Robots can do that shit. It's dope.
But that Zack Snyder shit, it was on a track right next to, because it was back, 2000 something, 2000.
It was barely
6 or something bullshit like that. And he was just following Leonidas and it was all one take and he was just fucking, it's amazing. Check out that Corridor Digital video. I know that was random, but all right. Spy Family had the most incredible episode this week for me personally. Like, okay, from the structure, the moment it started, was extremely special because it just got right to the shit. It was the family interview for the prestigious, what's the school called?
Something college. It's
some Adians college or some shit like that. Whatever it is, it's a fucking real prestigious college. That this is basically the ride or die part of his mission, because his mission harkens on him getting into the school and then getting close to the families there, so he can then do what he got to do. He's not even supposed to assassinate him, right? He's just supposed to do some shit.
Yeah, he's supposed to get close to him, gather information.
So, very, very interesting thing, because again, he talked about in this episode, and we're just going to touch on like our favorite parts during this episode. But he talked about in his monologue of how he hates having to rely on other people when he does spy work. And
it wasn't necessarily just relying on other people, right? Because I don't think he so much has an issue with relying on like Anya and Yor. It's an issue the bigger issue that he spoke of is like the success of this mission is no longer in his hands. So he has to rely on the professors and educators and whatnot to grant him access in order to get in. And that I can understand, right? Because the success of your mission now hinges on entirely someone else, and you are in a position where you have to, carry yourself a certain way in order to have that same success, right?
Yeah, I definitely interpret that as Anya and Yor. It's the professor thing. He can do as much research as he possibly can and have all the right answers for the professors. It's his family that he's worried about saying or giving the right answers and doing the right things for him to get to the point where he needs to. It was so good, man. It was so touching to see them come together and work as a fucking unit all the way up until the actual interview. my favorite part is obviously when the animals got released. Well, no, because when they helped that little kid and he put out that first time he put out a new outfit, that shit was so funny. Like I laughed out loud at the fact that, what was that? The headmaster or headmaster assistant or some shit like that. Yeah, the headmaster assistant was like, yeah, they fell, they got dirty. There's no way we'll be able to take them to this. And then he whips out the fucking cleanest suit fit, bro.
The gray suit.
Yeah, man. I'm like, this motherfucker fresh, man.
And he was like so elegant. And then when the Bulls came,
yeah,
they had to change again. He put out the second suit.
The second suit was just as fresh.
He's like, all right, these people just scary now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, no, like me and Monique was laughing at this episode because it was like, he might have really been a parent at some point, because that's the only time you ever have extra outfit. That is when you're a parent, because you know baby might throw up on you, yeah, baby might do anything, and you gotta have an extra shirt or something sit laying around.
He was smart, man, and this made me realize fucking just how incredible Yor is. She just might be the waifu of the season.
The pressure points or the after that point?
No, just her in general.
Yeah, just because she was on it.
She just, her in general is just, she's special. She's definitely, she's a close second. And it's so funny because she should be my first, but because I'm so like, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, I'm so biased towards this particular mother, which is Yu's mother, and Shikimori is not just a cutie. Something about Yu's mother is just almost the perfect waifu for me. Yours great. She's beautiful. She's fucking active, and she gets demon mode. I like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't feel, maybe it's the motherly thing that I don't feel from her yet.
She probably a little young too.
That's true. That's true. What, yours like 20 something? Yeah, 20 something, 4-ish.
Not saying that's young, but we getting up there, you know.
That's a fact.
We 30 now. We can't be.
Yeah,
20, that's a 24. Fact. You know, I might need me a 28 at the youngest.
That's a fact, and you can kind of sense that. No, it was great though. It was great, and then we get to the interview, bro. The fucking interview.
Interview was great. Mostly for like the reactions, right? Like, I hated old dude.
Fucking hated him, bro.
Because the other two educators, the headmaster and what's his face, they were mad cool.
Yeah.
They was like just listening, you know, and they was asking questions.
Yeah.
And like, I don't necessarily think I think that the question about her previous mother, her real mother, I don't think they should have done a comparison question, right? Because, like, let's say we were really talking about educators or anything like that.
Because they didn't. It was the fucking fat fuck that did.
Captain Asshole.
Yeah.
If he had just asked, you know, how do you feel about your mother previously, right? Instead of asking, you know, who do you like more? Mm-hmm. I think I would have done better with that, because you do want to sometimes hear a child articulate things that are harder to articulate for them.
Absolutely.
Well, is that a hard situation to bring up for a child? 100%. Because how do you expect a 4 to 6 year old to process the death or whatever of a previous parent?
Right.
That's some BS to bring up. But I loved how, like, when he said this is just such a trifling matter, like it was something small and insignificant, how Yor was like, oh, you find this trifling, you see her hand twitching, she's like, I'm gonna go ahead and body bag, dude.
And I think that her eyes, I think that part was so fucking good, dude. So good. Well, who's the studio that's doing this?
Studio God, like
Clover and Wit. Oh yeah, we talked about this when it first dropped. Cloverworks and Wit. Cloverworks and Wit are showing dude. They are showing right now with this show.
Well, you know, Cloverworks, like I said, they're the backup studio for Fate. So you know.
Absolutely. So you mean to tell me you have backup studio for Ufotable basically, and then Wit Studio supporting one of the most anticipated anime to come out? Crazy, bro. Crazy. This has nothing but success in its future. I'm sad it's only 12, but
it's so good.
It's only core 1 though, right? Aren't they doing 2 cores? Yeah, they're doing 2 cores. So yeah, it's not even season 2. So it's 24 episodes, but in season one, but they don't have
we
half.
was talking about how we wanted anime to get shorter, like less episodes.
Yep.
This ain't one of them.
This ain't one.
Keep this quality.
Speak. Tell.
Give us this kind of shit.
Tell them, because that is a fact. If you keep this quality up, like, I feel like this is moving at a pace that's just so well done.
Hey, yo.
As fast as the episode seems to go by, I still feel like the pacing is perfect.
Speaking of quality, what did you say about
PPE?
Boruto and Black Clover fans?
Fuck, bro. Oh my god. These motherfuckers is on Twitter, bro. Listen, because I basically run a Mic Check Waifu Twitter, and I see everybody of all kind of favorites tweeting and retweeting and quote tweeting each other. The fucking craziest part is how the Black Clover fans are literally laughing. Ha ha ha, Boruto sucks. Boruto is trash. It'd never be my anime. Could never be Black Clover looking this trash. Ha ha ha. For one, Black Clover has looked so much worse in many other instances in its entire career, okay? But for you doofuses, okay? Oh, wrong button. For you doofuses, they're made by the same studio. So why the fuck would you argue or complain about the animation of Boruto when the animation of Black Clover is done by the same fucking people?
It's like they don't know.
It's like they don't know. And they don't know. Because they don't. They say could never be my anime.
Has been your anime.
You doofus. Shut up.
It cannot be because it already
has been. Yeah, or is. Fucking, what a disgrace. Spy Family was real fucking good, man. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next, because obviously the headmaster's assistant, which is like the main dude who's gonna go to the headmaster and say, hey, the Forger family has to come in. Like, they're fucking great. So they're gonna let them know. When they come in though, what do you think is gonna happen? Well, no, what did you think about the last scene when they were in the house? And he was like, said we basically failed.
Oh yeah. I think obviously the reality is in his position he thinks they failed, right?
Absolutely.
Because he can't see the bigger picture. I think Anya and Yor told him the right thing though. It's in the other two guys' hands. We can rely on them, right? Because they left a very good impression. I think they did very good things there. And probably excelled all the way up before then. We know they excelled all the way up before then. I mean, obviously, he's way more hard on himself because he's a perfectionist. He's a spy who basically is able to get away and do whatever he wants because of his technique and ability. And like he said before, he hates relying on others for the success of his mission. Yeah. He's in that position right now, and this is out of his hands. As a control freak or perfectionist, he's having a hard time, But I think obviously he's gonna get in. Yeah, they're gonna get in.
Yeah. So, and what I mainly want to talk about with that last scene is their monologues. How Yor felt like, well, there's gonna have to be, it's a be it if we don't get in. And shit, I guess I'm gonna have to. I don't really care, but I'm kind of worried about how this is gonna affect my work. And then him, like, I won't have his family no more, but whatever. But that means I failed my mission, and I don't want to fail my mission. Like you say, he's a perfectionist. And then this Anya, she doesn't want to go to orphanage again. Yeah, I think that's a very important piece that a lot of people are. Well, not the manga readers, but a lot of people are going to, minimize.
I think also to play into that part though is that final scene that we saw before they got there, right? Yeah. That scene where they got into that altercation shows that even though they're not a family, that there's a dynamic being built amongst them that almost feels like family, because our main character did not know why he was reacting and why he's getting upset. And
calm down, Twilight.
He didn't. Yeah, he's like, Lloyd, calm down. So they're all kind of coming together as a family, and I think the way that the characters or the voice actors chose to verbalize those sentences shows that they even care, that even if this comes to an end, they're sad about it.
Well, they think they won't be.
Right, they think they won't be, but they're portraying it differently.
Yeah, so
the heart never lies, I guess, kind of thing.
Exactly, and that's what I think that's going to be the most interesting piece about this show. Not the mission itself, not the romance between Yor and Lloyd, but there's just a dynamic in this. I guess it is a romance, just a dynamic in this family building and becoming a family.
Right.
Yeah, so interesting, man. I can't wait to see what this has to entail. What episode are we on? What episode did we just spoil?
That was 4.
Okay, episode 4. I keep meaning to say the episode we're going to spoil in spoiler talk, because for people like Simi Sensei who's coming up listening later, they don't really have the episode we're kind of discussing until we get into the shit. So I'm gonna try my best to start discussing the episode numbers, and then the next episode we're going to discuss now is probably going to be Love After World Domination, episode 4. Fucking crazy. Okay, for one, when it started off with the shit, basically, with her seeing him with Pink, obviously, her getting pissed off about it, and then they getting into an altercation about it, was the most adorable shit ever, man.
I did not think she was gonna pull up on him like
that.
She
pulled up, bro.
No, she ain't pulled no punches. She just pulled up and said, "Here, hold this," and it was hands.
And the best part about that, I think personally, is her understanding that she knows he wasn't cheating. Like, it wasn't like, "You're cheating on me" type shit. She even said, I know you would never cheat on me, but something in me made me jealous and made me turn into this. And what I like about that is self-realization, self-understanding. I can't stand for people to just not be accountable for shit. That's my problem, man. If you can't hold yourself accountable for your own actions, i.e. her being just jealous because she know this man ain't fucking, she knows him well enough to know that he ain't gonna fucking cheat, but she don't feel great about what happened.
That's my brother right there. He said exactly how I feel. The accountability is what made this scene so much better, with the fact that she knew why she felt. She not necessarily why, but she knew she felt something. Knew that it was not necessarily the right thing to feel, because that's not the scenario. Mm-hmm. But she let it be known that I'm feeling this, and I don't necessarily even have a problem with people acting out on something that they feel, as 100%. Long as they can tell me, like, look, I'm acting out like this because of such and such reason. Exactly. As long as you're not killing me for the most part or causing some bodily harm. Now, this is Red Gelato. He can take some hits, so that's
right.
Go ahead and knock that man across the street into a building.
Right.
But I'm not Red Gelato. Don't knock me across the street into a building. No. But you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
It's like the I almost want to say it's the emotional intelligence to know that she was hurt regardless of whatever happened. And then kind of how things progressed there, because not only did they fight and they had that talk and they held hands again, because remember at first it was like it's taboo, you can't hold hands.
Progress.
That's a big step. They held hands again, and as soon as they hold hands, guess who we see?
Pink.
Chilling.
Put up slow.
Yeah, she was just sitting there. She's like, okay.
Yeah. And oh my God, this show was so fucking good, bro. Because what's so good about it is when Pink pulled up, what we both expected was her to tell. Like, she's just like, okay, Red, let's go. Let's get out of here. And shitting bricks. I was shitting bricks. Red Gelato was shitting bricks. Destiny was shitting bricks. And just
I'm shitting bricks.
Exactly. Just as it continued on, the curiosity or the I'm gonna hit you, but you ain't gonna know when I'm gonna hit you. When that came through, it's like, fuck, man. What is gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What is going to happen to the show after they find out? Because there was no chance in hell. I don't give a fuck who you think you are. You did not. There was no way you believed that she wasn't going to tell. Right? Like, I believe she was going
to tell, because she stated that she very clearly liked him,
Yeah, that's even more reason for her to tell. What I'm thinking to myself is, I'm thinking, more than any, what I thought was gonna happen, and this is just my guess. I'm like, oh, she gonna fucking tell, but when she tries to tell, it's gonna come out wrong, or it's gonna be some trope of, it's gonna be some trope of her saying something to, you know, the main leader of the gelatos, and he's gonna be like, oh no, but you know what, that's not true, or he's doing an undercover mission. I thought it was gonna be something like they don't believe her kind of shit. That's what I thought it was gonna be. What I didn't expect was for it to turn out the way it was, and that's her saying, you know, and obviously fast forward to the situation, she doesn't tell, and fucking they sitting on the bench like, yo, or she Destiny sitting on the bench, and he's, you know, sitting behind a tree like Shaq in that meme. He's like, yo, like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna handle this situation? And they just don't know what to fucking do. And Destiny sends Pink pull up, and Pink pulls the fuck up. She's like, look, let's do it, let's fight. And they throw down.
And the character revelation after that too was amazing.
Incredible, unexpected, surprised. That's how I felt.
And it shows a lot with the like the duality of characterization, right?
100%.
Like Desiree is obviously, she's meant to be an antagonist, and I mean, is she even really a villain? Because we don't really see her doing villainous things other than fighting the gelatos, right? That's all she does.
And I think it's because, and it's just a guess, I don't know if this should be certain, but I think her dad or grandfather or whoever it is the leader of them, and that's why she's on that side.
Yeah, but I guess like the point I'm getting to is that like she still has that duality, right?
Yeah.
She saved Pink before she was Pink.
Yeah.
And told her, you know, get stronger, you know, you got to protect yourself, basically. And Pink looks up to that, the fact that this girl was strong, someone that she knows, someone that's so close to her or around her that she can, you know, visualize, like visually see, was strong like that, protected her. And now that person is the same person that likes the person that she likes. So now it's not even just like it's the competition in it, but it's also the fact that like now Destiny has to, I guess, think about how she's going with this relationship because she knows there's someone else that wants her man.
Yeah, but I don't think she's worried about that.
Yeah, probably not, but it's still cool.
It's
like,
fucking cool as shit.
These characters are great.
It's so cool. And again, this is a show that I would never expect to even watch, to be honest. But I'm like, you know, it's here, let's turn it on. And when I'm watching it and I'm enthralled by the character dynamics from episode 1, minute 1, I'm like, man, what the fuck? Again, and it goes back to what you talked about last week, how this is not a Power Ranger parody. Like, this is just a romance that just happens to be with a little skin on it. And again, I do want to say one thing, and I'm sorry, the dub, I don't like this dub.
You don't like this dub?
I know we just talked about it, bro. The dub don't sound.
Y'all need to see Polo face on this.
Motherfucker don't sound. At least Red Gelato. Everybody else is probably fine, but Red Gelato don't. Motherfucker sound like he like 42 years old, not a high school
dub's already
student.
Coming out.
Yeah. And again,
so
no,
the 16-year-old boy sound like he 42.
He about 42 years. Yes, sir. I'm like, oh, this shit don't. Everybody else sounds fine, but it's, I don't know. They dropped the ball on this one.
No way.
Yeah, true. It's not great, but I don't know. I like it, man. I like it a lot. Great show. All right. Next up, Summertime Rendering or Renderer, whichever title you're looking at. Same thing.
So, Summertime Rendering. I know we just finished talking about World Domination, but this anime, I actually really do. I really enjoy this one. Yeah. And a lot of it is just the like think pieces,
yes,
the conversations, the intrigue and the mystery, right? Because we don't, and I'm just gonna say this, we don't know who the original Shadow is.
I don't even fucking have a guess. I could normally theorize really well, but I can't.
Like the cop dude who had the phone. We know that he eventually becomes a Shadow, right?
Or he did, at least in that previous one, yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, was this the day after? Because if you recall, didn't he become a Shadow that day after he when he recorded?
No. So
Oh no, he had him go back into town.
Yep. So he sent him on a wild goose chase that saved him from.
But who did that? Who else did that sacrifice? We don't know, and that's where the intrigue with this show is so amazing. We don't really know who to trust.
Exactly. Yeah, because without Mio being able to kill the officer, she's not able to get his gun. Without her having the gun, she's not able to kill, or did she kill the woman with the glasses and the huge knockers? So like, it's a sequence of events that don't happen because one thing didn't happen, but what else happened? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have no idea, and it's so impossible to guess because when they went into, I think her name is Shiori. When they went to Shiori's home and we saw the shadow Shiori, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then coming out, obviously, was her family. And again, like, why did she run? Like, it was just so much shit. And then they dropped a little hint. They did a little thing where they dropped a small piece of hint of, oh, but you're already. And then they didn't touch on it. So, like you said last week, he's probably already a shadow, or at least half of it, i.e., why he has the split eyes. But like, I'm so intrigued, and I can't fathom or guess or have any clue of what's going to happen next.
I'm very, very happy with the quality of this anime, right? Because every
episode is like a movie.
Even though I'm not going to say this is episode of the week, right? I think that had this been a different season, it very well could have been.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say, even if Spy Family wasn't here, this definitely still could have been episode of the week. And I think that what keeps this so good is the fact that we don't have a choice but to guess. We taking shots in the dark, and those shots, they could be landing or missing, and we hear the thud every time it hits something, but we don't know what it's thudding on.
Right.
These episodes, they're all very good. And then kind of like, even like when we get to kind of close to the end of this episode, but like we get to the point to where they kind of all go to the festival, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't want to go to the festival at first because he had that flashback. Okay, when we go through those woods or whatever, that's when we saw the other shadow. But we know now the shadow doesn't have the gun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We know that now. But we also know that it's still dangerous, but it's probably less dangerous when there's a lot of people. So they go to the festival. They seem to have a noticeably good time, but our character notices something.
Right. So my question to you is, this is episode 3 of Summertime Rendering. I should have said that at first, but okay. We see Ushio.
I don't know the answer.
Exactly. We see Ushio, and then it goes and it cuts the credits, and she's in the water. It didn't feel like a vision.
It didn't.
You know how some shows do this, and it's
the only
illusionary.
The only thing that made it seem slightly fantastical was that we got that moment where her hair was like super bright and glowing.
Yeah.
But other than
Ghost-like.
other than that, I think that was just to focalize, like to put like, hey, this is a focal point that's happening right now.
Hey, listen.
Right. And then we got there.
Yeah.
And she turns around and we're like, and this is what also makes me think, like, in my mind, because the guy, right, his best friend, his best friend said, I want to go check on something. We don't know if the shadows get all your memories after they flash you.
We do know that.
Yeah, so they do get the memories,
they
right?
They do.
So we do know that he could be the shadow right now.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
And that shit don't work. So that means that you can't make up a password and just think, oh, the password is this, and that. That's
exactly what I'm thinking, because when they said that, that's why when he said in his inner monologue, he's like, I'm still not 100% sure if this is him. Because like, I'm like making up a code don't fucking matter, because they showed, and intentionally so, when Mio killed the cop, she flashed. When she killed the cop was laid there dead. The shadow came up. The shadow then took the picture or whatever, flashed the dead cop, and then that's how he got, hey, I'm this cop and I did this and blah 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 blah, and he kind of replayed who he was,
everything that happened.
Yeah. So with that, like, we don't know if maybe they'd get all of it or maybe they just get some of it, like their main the main attributes. So maybe it still could be the fact that it's not true. But something about his friend, when he said I'm going to go check on something. Yeah, that shit ain't sitting right with me.
And that's also another thing, because it was like when he was saying, I don't know 100% if he's not a shadow. That was before, he said,
even
I'm going to
that.
check on
That's
something.
true.
That was before. So now when he came in and gave the password, we don't know. We don't know. What did he go check on? He ain't give us no details. We ain't ask no questions.
Demon, bro. This shows whoever wrote this is a demon. Now, my thing is, this is fucking crazy. But this show is 25 episodes, bro. It's 25 episodes.
What?
How? Like what? What is it? What are these?
Hey, look, I ain't complaining until they get bad, bro. I ain't hearing no negativity coming out of me towards this show until they get bad.
How the fuck is this going to be played out in 25, bro?
Ain't none of my business. I need them twists and turns. I need the whole thing, bro. Go ahead. You're not gonna hear me say one negative thing until they get bad.
My thing is I don't know. I just don't know what this 25 is going to be filled with.
The thing is like, and here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this, right? I think, because I came up with another theory. I think just the natural state of this village is the curse. The shadows were always there, and that the people living there were never part of that village until they started to populate and try to get rid of the shadows, right? Priest or whatever they wanted to do, they were the ones who got rid of the shadows. But the natural state of this village, of this island, were the shadows. And I think that's why the shadows constantly come back. They keep coming back. Like
they invaded on they shit.
Right. So the shadows is like, nah, this is where we live. This is what we do. This is our place. And,
yeah, because to be honest, it can't be no other way. What other reason would this even have to be what it is? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think the only other thing they could give us is saying something like the people of this island got cursed for whatever reason. Like ancestors got cursed for doing some heinous act of violence.
Oh my god, like some Higurashi kind of shit.
Right.
Ooh.
But either way, either way, if they did that or gave us the fact that the shadows were always here first, I'd take either one.
I think you're second. I think the latter is it.
That the people of the village did something crazy, and yeah.
Yes, I think they fucking did something horrific, because that actually, let me check something. Going on any list.
What you doing?
When They Cry is one of the shows, or
Higurashi When They Cry, yeah. I only watched that first part.
When They Cry is one of the related shows. So, to me personally, man, it might be. Because it has to do with murder, essentially. I think that's why it's associated with it. But when you think about it, that makes probably the most sense as to what happened. This village did some heinous shit, either back in the day or recent enough to where it would cause somebody of purity to be, quote unquote, a part of this to help cleanse the situation, i.e. give Shinpei his power or whatever the situation is to hopefully fix this curse. But this has to do with something that this island did. Fuck, bro, what a theory, man.
It's about to be great.
What a theory.
I ain't got no complaints. This shit was good.
Absolutely good. All right, man, that's a wrap.
Better than that bubble movie. All right, we just finished talking about summertime rendering and all of its greatness. Let us know what your fan theories are. What you thinking? World domination. Another great episode. Not my episode of the week. Not Polo's either, but it was a good one.
Real good.
Spy Family. Another great episode. Man, Spy Family is coming with some heat. We love it. Let us know what you thought about that song Polo gave us during the break. We also got to know Mike Check Wife with the anime letdown. What was your biggest anime letdown? Ours were Twin Star X's anime and My Hero Academia. We also talked about Bubble. Got some spoilers going on in there. Let us know what you thought about Bubble. You love the music. You love the voice acting. You love the story. You like the Little Mermaid going on there. Polo talked about his romance fascination and his little slight disappointment in a couple of cuckoos. Twin Star X just had 2 great chapters this week. Doombreaker, another manga I'm reading. And then Polo talked about the Duke of Death and his maid that he started watching. He just now getting to finishing. He's ready for season 2 already.
Good, so good.
I also picked up The Last Summoner. Let me know if you're picking it up. And then we also talked about Tamagotchi game, and it's kind of a flopping game.
Mediocrity.
It's alright. Episodes of the week, as we said, mine is Trapped in a Dating Sim, and Polo's is Spy Family, and that's been episode 150. I might check Waifu.
I'm at Polo Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Taliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on TikTok and Instagram. And as always, Mike Check.
I ain't even gonna hold you. I took way too many notes.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu.